Hello, my name is Alma Sánchez Linares. I am a student of the master's degree offered by the Faculty of Languages BUAP, la maestría en enseñanza del inglés. My supervisor is Dr. Elizabeth Flores Salgado, and today I will be telling you about my thesis development. To start with, this is the name of my thesis project, a pragmatic analysis of requests and refusals as produced in Spanish and English, a case study of bilingual children. When my husband and I made the decision to raise our children as bilinguals, we couldn't foresee the impact that such a decision would have on our family. Raising our children bilingually at home has allowed us to observe and experience at first hand how Spanish and English native speakers have their own conversation and interaction patterns, a process which has been fascinating to observe and thus a motivation for me to study through this thesis project. Through the experience of witnessing the interactions of my children, it is noticeable that they don't only require to be linguistically capable, but also being able to communicate and understand others appropriately, in order to build and maintain good social relationships with others in different social situations and activities. I've also observed that among some of the challenges, such as language fluency or code switching, cultural differences, and so on, for bilingual children is the performance of the requests and refusals. These are complex speech acts which are commonly present in communicative interactions. My thesis project will be organized into 5 chapters. The first chapter provides an introduction to the problem, the purpose of the study, the research questions, the rationale, the main topic of the research, and the key terms of the main notions for my investigation project. Chapter 2 reviews the literature on bilingualism, communicative competence, and pragmatic competence. This is followed by a review of the key components of politeness theory. And finally, a review of speech acts focusing on requests and refusals will be provided. Chapter 3 will broadly discuss the methodology used for this research project. With this context, the participants and data collection instruments will be outlined. Chapter 4 aims to present the results of the research. In this chapter, the transcriptions and notes of observation will be analyzed and results presented and described. Chapter 5 presents the conclusions of the study with its discussion and suggestions for further research. And finally, I will include the references. I will talk about the aim of the study. The purpose of this study is twofold. Firstly, to describe the most salient characteristics of how refusals and requests are made by bilingual children in both Spanish and English. Secondly, to raise awareness and draw attention to the fact that pragmatic competence development is as important a skill as developing linguistic competence, especially in older bilingual children, an area of study which seems to have been neglected so far. Research questions. The production of the speech acts of refusal and requests is the core in the development of this case study and will be analyzed from a pragmatic point of view. This investigation addresses the following research questions. The first one, what are the refusal and request strategies in Spanish and English performed by 2 bilingual Mexican-British children aged 10 and 12 years old? Second, are the participants of this study aware of the differences and similarities of the request and refusal patterns in both languages? will now talk about the theoretical framework. The chapter 2 of my dissertation, the literature review, is basically divided in these three main topics: bilingualism, communicative competence, and politeness theory. Literature recommends the first step to conduct research in the area of bilingualism is understanding its meaning in its social, psychological, and cultural context in order to better interpret the findings. However, the more research is done about investigating the term bilingualism, the more complex it's to find a unique and accurate definition for it. This remains an open problem in the area that somehow makes the topic of bilingualism both notorious and interesting. For today's presentation, I've included two definitions of bilingualism. The first one says that bilingualism is the ability to speak two languages perfectly. This is according to Blomfield. Another definition for bilingualism is having been brought up with two languages by being fairly competent in using them both. Also having the ability to comprehend the meaning of language regarding words and meanings as a significant phenomenon of the modern era. I've also studied the different types of bilingualism. Due to these complex social, psychological, linguistic, and cultural aspects, researchers in this area propose that the phenomenon of bilingualism needs to be understood from a multidimensional aspect. Although it's not possible to set clear limits between the different types of bilingualism, several authors have suggested some interesting types of bilingualism. Regarding the methodology, this is a case study. Its context would be home. The participants are two bilingual Mexican-British children, aged 10 and 12. The instruments used for collecting the data will be audio-video recordings with these transcriptions, observations, and note-taking. And the methodology that I will use to analyze and conduct the research will be a mixed method approach. Methodology. In this case study, the home environment has been chosen as the main area for data gathering, mainly because it's the most natural and relaxed setting to observe over an extended period of time. Furthermore, as Hasmi suggests, family interactions provide an ideal context for observing processes that deal with the acquisition of pragmatic competencies and the transmission of social and cultural values. Participants of this study are two bilingual Mexican-British children, aged 10 and 12. The instruments that I will be using will be audio-video recordings with these transcriptions, observations, and note-taking. And I will use mixed method approach. This study involves a detailed description of the setting or individuals, followed by analysis of the data for themes or issues. This is what I'm going to do with the data. Okay. Contributions expected from this study are the following ones. The first, provide further data and add to the paucity of specific research and existing literature that currently exists in this field of the development of pragmatic competence and the enactment of refusal and requests in older monolingual and bilingual children. Second, to contribute to the area of cross-cultural pragmatics, addressing the importance of the use of politeness conventions for bilinguals and how this knowledge will allow them to perform speech acts appropriately, more accurately, reflecting their cultural norms. And last but not least, to raise awareness of how important the teaching and modeling of the speech acts of requests and refusals are in general. Finally, here are the references that I've used today in this presentation. Thank you very much. Although I'm still in the initial stages of my thesis project, I expect to be able to organize and collect my data in order to generate my results in the early part of 2021. Thanks for your attention. Your questions and comments are welcome.